To start off with, there is a way of playing a cushion shot that not only makes a pot a little bit easier, it also heavily reduces the chances of you miscuing, because even with enough chalk on your tip, it's still difficult to get a clean hit on the cue ball from this position. But the secret to never miscuing on these shots, which also makes the pot a little bit easier to play, is just ever so slightly grazing the cushion with your tip just before you strike the cue ball. This allows your tip to grip the cue ball a little bit better, which reduces unwanted side spin, and that's why you'll be a little bit more accurate if you use this technique. We have 6 more secrets that will improve your game but no one ever talks about. But keeping your head still on a shot and not jumping up off it isn't one of them. However, this can be a little bit difficult to put into practice. Because while you may be aware that moving or jumping up off the shot causes you to miss, you might not be able to do anything about it. This problem is caused by where you're looking on a shot, as is the secret to fixing it. You see, if I'm looking slightly downwards at the shot I'm playing, then I'm not going to be able to see where the pocket is. In fact, I'm probably not going to be able to see any further than that block of chalk. And that means in order to look at the pocket, I've got to lift my head up in the air. And in doing so, lift it up off the shot to see what happens to the object ball. This problem gets worse on longer shots where you can see even less, and staying still is even more crucial. Even if the pocket's in the top of your vision, you may still feel the need to raise your head up a little bit. The solution to this problem is to get the pocket somewhere between halfway and 3/4 of the way down your vision. And that should mean you can see the pocket without having to move your head at all, and you'll probably find if you don't have to move your head to see, you probably won't. Snooker as a game definitely becomes a lot easier when you get into the rhythm of consistently potting the balls. I find it impressive that all of the top players can go 2 or 3 frames sometimes without having a chance, sometimes even sitting out for half an hour, but still potting the very next ball they have a chance at, and even going on to win the frame from it sometimes. So how are they able to get straight back in their rhythm? What do they know that you don't? They will know where they're aiming, because quite often your eyes can trick you into misaligning a shot. Here's how it works. You think you're aiming in the right place, but where you're actually aiming is here. So when you go to play the shot, you're probably a little bit surprised it doesn't go in the pocket. You can even try this. Place a ball on the blue spot and line up a dead straight shot from behind the bulk line. Now in theory, all I've got to do is play this straight in order to pot it. Now it's possible I missed because I failed to push my cue through straight. Or maybe I didn't really know where straight was. So here's the secret of finding straight. You simply look for the reflection of the cue ball in the object ball. If you strike here with the cue ball, the object ball will move in a straight line. So to play a straight shot, you just push your cue straight through the centre of the cue ball to this point. So if I aim for that reflection on a close range shot, and the shot doesn't end up going straight, then I'm not aiming where I think I am. So how can you be sure you're aiming exactly where you think you are? What you need to do is just set up a number of close range straight shots, and then just aim for the cue ball's reflection in the object ball. If the object ball doesn't go in a straight line, then you're simply not hitting where you're aiming. So just keep aiming for this point, and eventually where you're aiming will match up with where you're actually hitting the object ball. And at this point, the shot should then go straight. This would just mean that where you're aiming is actually where the cue ball strikes the object ball. And that's going to make the game a lot easier to play. But not as much as practice, because unfortunately, no matter how much you know, nothing beats hard work. But some forms of practice will be a lot more beneficial than others. And that's because break building around the black spot can be fairly simple, but is probably the most straightforward way of winning a game. But controlling the cue ball around this area and potting the black from some positions take a lot of getting used to. That's why it's definitely more valuable practicing shots in this area than it is anywhere else on the table. So a very simple but good way of practicing these shots is to place a red halfway between the black spot and the pink spot, the black on its spot, and then pot the red
play for the black, replace the red, and then pop the black and replace the black, and just see how long you can keep doing that for.
This will depend on your ability, but getting better at this will make more of a difference than any other part of the game. So I'll leave a link to more practice routines like this at the end, but for now let's look at more things you might not know.
Sometimes when you run out of position, it won't be your fault. It's just another secret that you don't yet know. And this one's actually a lot easier to explain because it's all about chalk. If I release these balls evenly down the cues, then in theory they should all end up in the same place. The green here has gone about the same distance as the white, and so has the red. They've all gone to roughly the same place. So let's say that's about there, but now I add chalk to the cushion, so we've got chalk definitely going to get here in between the cue ball, or it's not going to be the cue ball, it's going to be the yellow, in between the yellow and the cushion, and in between the black and the cushion. And watch the difference now. It's going consistently, definitely a lot further than the balls were going before.
So if you hit even a small chalk mark on the cushion, it can very easily bounce and leave you a long way out of position.
So to simply prevent unpredictable bounces, just make sure you're giving the cushions a quick clean. Our next one gets added to the bonus category because it's less of a secret and more of a wild theory, but it's all to do with having good control of the cue ball. I'm trying to pop this red, but also get the cue ball as close as possible to the black spot at the same time. And there we go, right on the black spot. So that means in a way I've got the weight of the table.
This just means I'm used to the exact speed of the table I'm playing on, and if I play the shot correctly, the cue ball should go exactly where I want it to.
And I think this is relevant because if you end up snookered like this with a shot where you have very little control on where the balls are going to finish up, I think they're more likely to go safe if you've got the weight of the table. But maybe that's just a mad theory. But what we're looking at after we find Lavin from Durban, South Africa, definitely isn't. There it is.
The secret here is just how much better you're able to get in position if you're able to make the cue ball backspin on a very slow shot.
Being able to play low and slow almost instantly improves your break building because it just gives you so much more control over the cue ball. So here's how you practice it. What you do is line up some just off straight shots about this far from the cushion, and then play a screw shot to get the cue ball back to the cushion. And then keep playing the shots again and again, but each time play them a little bit slower. So you're trying to play a screw shot back to the cushion that's slightly slower each time. And eventually you'll be able to play these shots with a lot less pace.
This is the second shot we've talked about today that's very easy to miscue, so once again make sure your tip is nicely covered in chalk. Because the secret to making this work is being able to get a clean contact on the cue ball while striking it very low, and also following through quite a long way, otherwise the cue ball won't come back.
Potting a ball along a cushion is always a difficult shot, but this secret can make it just that little bit easier.
Once again, to pot a ball on a straight shot, we'd need to get the cue ball here, straight in line between the cue ball and the pocket. However, if we're playing a similar shot, but this time with a lot of angle, and we aim to get the cue ball in exactly the same place, then it's likely to straighten up just a tiny bit. This is known as impact throw, and it slightly straightens up all angled shots.
To pot the black, I just need to hit it very slightly thinner, but this is such a small margin you probably won't even notice, and allow for it automatically.
Cushion shots still have the same problem, so if you've got a shot that's at an angle and you aim to strike the cushion and ball at the same time, then the impact throw is going to force it into the cushion and miss.
Fortunately, because the cushions are slightly flexible, you're still able to pot these shots by playing them ever so slightly cushion first. However, that's not the secret. The secret involves side spin.
If you strike the cue ball on the opposite side of the cushion, that's left-hand side here, it actually narrows the angle and stays closer to the cushion for a fraction longer. Combined with the side spin's effect on the object ball, this means you can strike the cushion slightly earlier or in the same place and you'll still pot the object ball.
And in this way, side spin can help you play shots along the cushion, so long as you can actually play shots accurately with side spin.
So if you want to be able to do that, I've made a video that explains exactly how to aim with side spin, and here's the practice routine video from earlier. And remember, don't just watch, play, and make the commitment to becoming a better player by subscribing to the channel and visit the website. See you later.